gente? It's your girl, Nina Montañez.
Hey, yo, what it do? It's your boy, Rue, and I'm coming for you. And this is...
SofritoSpeaks.
Hey, welcome back.
What's going on?
Damas y caballeros, welcome to episode 5 of season 5. SofritoSpeaks.
We still going strong or whatever.
Very COVID proof.
The virus thought it got us, and it didn't.
Let's get right into El Chisme, the part of the show where we let you know what had us fucked up, jodido, these past 14 days. What's going on, sis? What had you fucked up?
Honestly, I got none. That's crazy. I think 5 seasons and I don't got shit for El Chisme. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, no, I got it. Because I let it go. And then I had to like run through the week real quick. You remember that episode of SpongeBob when it was like throw everything that doesn't have to do with fine dining and breathing? And we threw out his name. I brought it back.
I just want to see all those Ninas in one room.
Running around. We threw out the Chisme. So it had recently been brought to my attention that...
Not brought to my attention.
It was. That my name is in other people's mouths that it doesn't need to be in. And this is my thing. Like, one thing about me, mi gente,
drama.
Like, right. Like, I really remove myself from all aspects of drama. Like, I don't do drama. Like, we too
You're diet
grown.
drama. You're so diet drama.
Yo, it's so
it's
stupid.
ridiculous.
We're grown, and it's just like I had made a TikTok video where I had said like, listen, we're grown, or like I like to think that we are. You know, if we have a falling out, I'm not dragging your name. Your name does not belong in my mouth anymore. Now, if someone asks me about you, I'm gonna say I hope they're doing well. I wish them the best. But you know, misery loves company, so they gonna ask, oh, what happened? Y'all was attached at the hip. We used to see y'all together all the time. What happened? I hope they're doing well, and I wish them the best. Damn, so you ain't gonna tell me the tea. I hope they're doing well, and I wish you're not gonna get the tea from me, because last thing I want is for you to go run and tell that person.
And that's exactly what they're gonna do.
Yo, I talked to Nina. She told me blah, 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 blah. No, you didn't, because Nina didn't tell you not a thing. Thank you. So something, I've always preached that. And I had recently found out that, again, I just like, it's just so annoying. Yo, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't understand.
She's a busy woman.
No, I don't want to do this. We're going to put my, all right, we muted it. We're good, mi gente. We're good. So my phone number.
My timer is going on for some reason.
We both fucked up. Anyways, so it was brought to my attention that somebody, your phone's right there, bro.
I pressed the wrong button.
I can't stand him. Y'all get to watch this.
Is that still recording? Okay.
All right, word.
Because I think it went off on that phone. Did something pop up? No? We're back in. Every episode, the visual fuck-ups. We're here.
It's always something. We got bloopers for days. But anyways, so it was brought to my attention that someone that I was really cool with decided that they want someone who I confided in about a certain situation went to the person that I confided to them about, because they and I had a falling out. And I, like, without saying too much, mi gente, I'm trying to like keep it as like, you know, reeling it in as much as I can. Okay, so I had confided in this person. You know, we were cool, whatever, what have you. We hung out, this, that, and the third. Confided in this person about a group of people I used to be friends with, and like, you know, how things happened, and you know, setting boundaries and how that played out. When you set boundaries, you have to remove yourself from certain situations sometimes. And cool, it was cool. Come to find out, one of my other friends had posted on her female, on her Instagram. Her and I are cool, so it don't matter. She knows I'm gonna talk about this. I posted on Instagram about like, we're going into 2022, cut with the indirects, where adults address a problem if you have a problem. So I hit her up and I was like, yo, who we beefing with? What's up? You know, me being loyal and whatnot. To which another person that had not communicated with my said friend or myself for months, but felt the need to try and relate on the fact that there might be a potential problem between me and my homegirl. So it hits the DMs talking about, oh, are you talking about someone that the two of us know, aka me, because I'm the one that introduced both of these people. My homegirl was real quick with it and was like, no, her and I are actually really good. Our friendship is soaring right now. We're good. She was sick of the back and forth bullshit. So she called said person and was like, what up? Like, what are we talking about? To which that said person had let her know that he had a conversation with someone that I had told him about, like how that person had hurt me and how we had a falling out. And he deemed himself worthy to have a conversation with that person about me. And then was like, oh, I'm finally on the other side of things. On the other side of what? That's what I want to know. What are you on the other side of? Because I haven't disrespected you. I haven't dragged your name. I don't bring your name up in conversation. If people ask me about you, I hope he's doing well. He's doing well. Now I always get hot. I try to keep it reel it in, and then I get pissed, and then I just spill it. So here we are. Here we are, mi gente. So this person, like whatever, he was like, oh, is this the same person that we're talking about? And my thing is like, that's where we at? You haven't spoken to my friend in dumb long who I introduced you to, but because you thought y'all was going to relate on a specific topic, aka me, you thought you had the rights to hit her up to try and bond over whatever issues you thought she might have had. Joke's on you, my guy. She wasn't talking about me. Now you look fucking stupid.
Cue Rihanna.
You look so dumb right now. Took me a minute.
I almost said Beyonce.
But anyways, so, and that, like, it bothered me because, yo, mi gente, I have been so to myself. Like, I see Ruben every 2 weeks because this is what we doing. This is what we working on. Other than that, it's in between, like, yo, real quick, you got this? Oh, well, real quick, I think I hit him up once this week. Like, hey, how you feeling? Whatever. But we don't communicate like that all the time. Me and my homegirl, we communicate every other day, or like we're sending each other scripture, or we're like sending each other like something that we should watch, or something that, oh, this made me think of you. Like, I don't talk to people. My phone at this point is just my alarm. It's an expensive ass alarm, but it's an alarm.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't need to be all up in the mix. I got people hitting me up this week talking about, damn, where you been? Like, we thought you deleted your shit. And I'm like, I've been minding the business that pays me, going to work, going to the gym, and I go home. Like, I don't owe anybody anything on social media. I don't have to do any of that. Like, until social media starts paying me, I don't owe social media anything. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it bothered me that, like, you had the nerve to try it, like, and then play the victim. I don't even know if I went through what happened and how this person I had a falling out. This man tried to talk to me wild disrespectfully over something that was so minuscule, and like was cussing at me. And I straight told him, I was like, I don't know. Me and my friends don't talk to each other like this. So I don't know who you think you're talking to, but baby, you got the wrong one. Like, I straight up, we were on FaceTime. He got mad. I don't know what triggered him. I later found out what triggered him. I will take accountability for what triggered him, but I didn't talk to him crazy. Mans was like, you never let me fucking finish. You sound like my fucking mother. I said, ooh.
Therapy.
Lord, I know you working on me. You working through me. You working around me. You working for me. Baby, help me keep calm in this moment, because if we both blow up, I'm pulling up. I was at work that day, but I had 45 minutes left in that shift, baby. I was going to have my car ready and running, and I was going to pull up because I'm like, who you talking to? Not like Jackson. That? You know what I'm saying? Poor Jackson was about to be in some mess. Jackson is in the parking lot like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not trying to do all this. Jackson is my car. My car's name. But anyways, so like he went off on me, and I literally was like, yo, my guy, you just triggered me, and I'm going to talk to you later, because the next couple words that might come out of my mouth, I can't guarantee that I could take it back. So I'm going to have to talk to you later. Nah, but you never let me fucking bro. I told you I'm gonna talk to you later because you just triggered me, and it's hot right now. So I'm gonna talk to you later.
I'm gonna have to let this go right now.
That same night, he ended up at an event with a bunch of people that I had spoken to him about, that, you know, why we had falling outs, and like, you know, it wasn't malicious intent. It was just him being like, you know, I know you guys used to be really cool. What happened? I'm like, yo, you know what? They're really cool people. I wish them the best. This is just not what I was receiving from a friendship. And when I spoke on it, it still wasn't being reciprocated. So I had to take a step back. I never shit on anybody's name. I never dragged anybody. I just said this was the part that I played in it, and this is how I took a step back. Cool. Now he's sitting at that same table with a bunch of people. And social media will get you in trouble. I peep in a snap that he's sitting with one specific person that hurt me the most in a very, what looked like intimate conversation. And I jokingly, mind you, it was in the background of a snap that I had peeped it. And I jokingly said to my homegirl, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were talking about me because they have nothing else to talk about but me. Because they don't speak ever. Come to find out months later, that's exactly what they were talking about. They were talking about me. And I'm like, that don't even make sense, fam. So I was upset because I'm like, yo, how am I really out here minding my own business? I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm not doing anybody dirty. Like, I'm really just out here minding my business and doing my thing and getting closer to God. And people will still have things to say.
Well, honey, that goes back to the saying, the devil will find his way back into your life.
You know what I'm saying?
No matter how
Devil's
far
working
you steer
overtime,
away from it.
but I'm working harder, yo. Like, what are we talking about? And I just thought it was so whack. Like, it didn't plague my mind all week, but it's something that I definitely went back to, like, yo, what? And then on top of that, so then it irked me because it just gave me signs of other people that I've walked away from all in one person. And I was just like, yo, that whole saying of people are in your life for a season or for a reason. And I'm like, you know what? You was here for a season. You're not about to paint me out to be the bad guy because I understand that you were only here for a season, as I was only supposed to be in your life for a season. And it is what it is. I'm not going to continue to go back and forth with somebody who didn't see the value in having me as a friend. But then when he finished off the conversation with my friend, he was like, I know she's a good person. She's a really good friend to have. She's really loyal. How are you? You cannot say all those great attributes about me and then still speak negatively about that. It doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate. Now, if you have a victim mentality and you just wanted someone to bond with over and try to get someone to help justify why you're right in your thought process, baby, I'm not the one. I don't look for other. I'm not sitting here telling Ruben this story because I need him to agree with me. I'm not sitting here telling y'all this story because I want y'all to agree with me. It's my truth and it's what I'm going to stand in. What you're not going to do is question my character solely based off of an opinion that you formed for yourself. And the fact that you're not seeing the issues with the part that you played in it, it's cool. You could stand 10 tones down in the part that you played in it. But I'm not saying that if this person approached me, if he approached me and was like, yo, Nina, can we talk? I would absolutely have a conversation, but we could only go into that conversation if we're willing to hear each other out. I'm willing to hear him out and take accountability for the part that I played in it. If I triggered you, tell me I triggered you and what part of what I said triggered you. No, but you decided to talk to me wild disrespectfully. If we got, who is, I don't talk to I talk to my friends with respect. You not my friend if you gonna talk to me wild like that. My own mother don't even talk to me like that. Sir, who do you think you are and trying to speak to me wild crazy? Yeah, you weren't cussing at me, but it was the level of aggression in which you were speaking to me that I was like, yo, who are you, my guy? It just didn't make sense to me. And I'm just like, because I asked you if you had time to go to the gym. I'm confused. And then he told me, he was going to go with a shorty. I said, bet, no worries. That's fine. I can go by myself. And then he spazzed on me.
Oh, connecting dots over here. Okay.
I'm like, this don't make no sense. And then to sit there and be like, oh, there's no bad blood. Ooh. It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself that there's no bad blood. Baby, I'm still getting 8 hours of sleep every night. You're actually one of the people I pray for.
I pray.
So it's what do you mean there's no bad blood? No, you just don't want to look like the bad guy. But it's always easier to paint Nina to be the bad guy. I don't got this thick skin for no reason.
It really is.
So I laughed at it. You know when you have to laugh at it? Right. Just paint. You laugh at it and then you really sit and think about it. Then I went through the 5 stages of grief in that. Because I was it was reopening a wound. Because I'm like, damn, I really trusted you, bro. And then you go because you have nothing else to talk to somebody about. You chose me to be the topic. Don't gas me up. Don't gas me up. Don't do that. Don't do that. How am I still occupying your mind? But when you see me in person, you skedaddle. You ever seen rats disperse really fast? Yeah.
Okay.
Don't fucking play with me. Yo, God's still working on me. Don't play with me. I can't. Anyways, why had you fucked up?
Well.
Sickening.
So the past 14 days, once I left here last 2 weeks ago, I had a sore throat. And I was like, wait, what is going on? I'm sick again. Oh,
Not
awesome.
again.
It's only the 4th week in a fucking row. So yeah. And then out of nowhere, I was told that my mom has COVID and then I had COVID. So my whole house went through the whole COVID little, the little COVID episode. And it was just literally like, having COVID is different. It's weird. You kind of have a cold. You have a major fucking headache in the back of your head. Your back hurts, and this is for what is it? Omicron or Omicron?
Omicron. I don't know.
So your back hurts, and you only feel relief when you go to the bathroom. And I'm just letting everyone know.
Yo, hold up.
Yeah, your back is literally killing you. Like it's killing you. And you feel the relief when you go to the bathroom because you're letting everything go. At least that's
when did the CDC release this symptom?
So, right. So I was telling everyone that I had back pain and they're like, that's not a symptom. That's not a symptom. And I'm like,
I'm sick.
But if I was on TikTok and everyone that was getting Omicron was saying, yo, my back is hurting. Everyone was having back pain. So I'm like, maybe it's a symptom that they're not like aware of, but it really is. It's a lot of people had back pain. My mom had back pain. It just started one by one. And then I also auditioned with COVID because I'm a fucking superstar.
He's the bad bitch.
I auditioned virtually for Quam in Boston and I actually got in, which my audition tapes I'm not the proudest of.
I want to see them. I do.
No, you don't. It's actually really, it's just like 3 minutes of me like, because I had to wear a mask. I was home. Well, one of my brothers didn't have COVID, so we were all wearing masks. And I was in the living room and I was dancing on top of that. And y'all know I'm a thick bitch, period. So it was like the breathing was just, it was breathing, baby. The lungs were working.
Lungs were working OT.
But I got in. Today's my first rehearsal. I'm very excited. I'm not looking forward to the recovery because after a 3-hour rehearsal, your body is literally just like, bitch, I'm done. And now I have to drive back home. Whereas before I would take the train and get to relax. Now I have to drive and I'm like...
Put that bitch in cruise control once you hit the highway.
So, yeah, I got into that. I'm very excited. My first show is actually in 2 weeks, January 29th. We're going to be performing at Boston University. So if you're in the Massachusetts, Boston area, definitely check them out at Quam Fam on Instagram. I'm going to meet everyone today, so I am excited. It's going to be a new chapter of dance at 32 years old. Haven't danced like that in competing teams since I was 27. So...
It's been, what, like 6 years?
She's... When I say the body will hurt tomorrow. But it is what it is. We push forward. We're chasing our goals and our dreams, and that is all that matters.
Let's get it.
Yeah, other than that, these past 14 days, I've just been trying to get healthy. I'm still testing positive for COVID as of last Tuesday. I haven't tested since because they told me to stop testing. You're going to test positive for about 90 days. So with Omicron.
Now it's 90 days?
With Omicron. So you're going to continue to test positive because whatever the case may be. But the only way that you should be, cautious is if you're having symptoms, which I no longer have symptoms. I just have my regular stuffy nose, and y'all know my voice leaves every other day because I talk with too much bass in it. So other than that, I've been good, and yeah.
Word.
All right, y'all, let's close this out and head into our next section, which is
Aye Bendito.
Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to Aye Bendito, the part of the show where we go through any media headlines, local headlines, and just give y'all some of our opinions on it. You know. All right, so let's start off with a COVID count. Because this week I'm part of that COVID count. There's a total in Essex County of 181,000 cases and still 2,831 deaths. With the past 7 days, new cases of COVID are 2,082. So it's very much still rampant. Make sure you're wearing your mask in small settings. It's very much still out here doing its thing. Coronavirus. Yes, sis. You're living. I want to talk about this Britney Spears drama with Jamie Lynn and how Jamie Lynn went on television.
Oh, nah.
And is trying to paint this picture that she's innocent, that this had nothing to do with her, that she didn't know about it, but was collecting checks. And that when she got older, she finally decided to make decisions on the conservatorship, but she wasn't too sure as to what it was. And how
so she got to make decisions on Britney's conservatorship, but she knew nothing about it.
Very Kentucky. It's giving very Kentucky. It's giving very much I'm gonna do what I'm told. And then Britney Spears basically went online and like attacked her and was like, "What about?"
Because she can do that now because she's free.
What about the time when you put a knife? When you came at me with a knife or something, and now they're like going back and forth, which is really. It is super embarrassing to see them, at this level. Like Britney's a whole icon.
Britney literally gets to say whatever the fuck she wants now.
Yeah,
so
she
she's
does.
like,
and she also is posting very like naked pictures online, which I live for.
I'm like, is that what it means to be free? I'm confused.
I just question if Britney has anyone in her corner right now that loves her, because like the things that I'm seeing that she's posting, I'm just like, I want your freedom. I absolutely do. I don't want you to go back to the situation you were in, but you need some social media training. Because
because we haven't seen that side of Britney because of the conservatorship, we applaud the Kardashians for it. So
we do. But
she's just catching up.
Britney Spears is a royal icon. Like she deserves where she's at. She deserves her level as opposed to Kim and the rest of them who bought their way up. So it's like for me, growing up as a hardcore Britney Spears fan and then seeing her now, and I'm like, I'm here for it. I love it, but I just don't want people to get the wrong impression. And it could go.
Especially if you're new to the Britney gang.
We see the Kims and the Kylies and the Chloes, and yes, they are out here nude, but they're doing it in somewhat more of a tasteful fashion where it's like in a photo shoot or selling a product, as opposed to Britney Spears, who's just in her, her glamorous room. But, I'm like, just get working. That's what I'm trying to get
Let's
at.
put together the tour.
Like, let's get working. If you want to get naked, I'm here for it. But let's sell the product. Let's sell the image. Let's remember the brand that is Britney Spears. Speaking of Kardashians.
Listen, so word on the street is that Kanye didn't get invited to Chicago's birthday party. And Travis Scott was the one that dropped the Addy, and Kylie had to tell security to let Kanye in. And then Kanye also explained in an interview with, I believe...
But I thought he said that Tristan told him.
It was Jason Lee. No, it was Travis.
Okay.
I believe it was Jason Lee of Hollywood Unlocked. They sat down together he spoke about why he bought a house across the street from Kim. And he was like, you're not keeping me from my kids. Like, and then he explained how when his dad in Atlanta stayed for his job when his mom
moved to Chicago
and him moved to Chicago,
which he was like the very dangerous streets of Chicago, and I was like,
we get it.
Like, did we need to say all that?
We get it. But yeah, so I don't know. I think again, we don't know what's going on with that. It sounds like he wants to be there for his kids. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird that he wasn't invited to the birthday party.
Some of the
or maybe he was invited, but like he never got sent the Addy. I don't know. I
saw some of the comments, and some people were like, well, why doesn't he just throw her a birthday party himself?
I saw that comment. Why can't he just throw him and it was like, boy, please. And it's just like you have the way that we have demonized black fathers, and you have a black father who's like, I want to be there for my children, and then it's like y'all was all down Kim's throat talking about she taking Armenians, and then she makes him a father, and then what? Now it's still an issue that this father wants to be a part of his children's lives. Like, when do we cut the narrative of like the evil black father who's never there? This man actively is like, no, I'm trying to be there for my kids. I feel like that's the time that we see him being the most sane, is when he's with his children.
I also think that we're still looking at the situation as Kanye. Kanye's the main topic of this conversation, when it really needs to be Kim. Like, you know the role that you're playing. You know what you're doing. You know how strategic this family is. Like, you didn't just not get an invite. Like, it was planned. And then I saw him speaking with Chris in one of the videos, and I was like, I wonder what that conversation is like.
But he was thankful. Like, he made a video like driving home from the party. Like, just came home from my daughter's birthday party. It was nice to see everybody. I got to see Chris, and like she had mentioned, like he had mentioned that it was nice to see everybody and be able to have conversations with people. Like, from what the clip I saw, it didn't look like he was speaking from a place of anger. He was just stating like, I'm going to be there for my kids. And then the clip with Jason Lee and him speaking, like he was like, this is why I did this. Like, I'm not going to move across town or whatever I want to be near my kids.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense. And I don't know.
I mean, if he wants to be petty, he can absolutely throw her an even bigger party if he wanted to. Yeah. But I think we're missing the fact that it wasn't about the party. It was about him being present.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be present for his daughter's birthday. It didn't matter how lavish it was. He just wanted to be present.
I can kind of see, though, why they didn't invite him, though.
Did they thought he was going to wall out?
Judging Did they on think his past. Like, I can kind of see that. Like,
but we've never seen him wall out with his when he's around his kids.
True, but
at least let me make I statements. I've never seen him wall out.
True, like when he's around his kids. It's not showcased, but we don't know what the situation is at
we've seen him wall out in concert in other social settings, but when we've only ever seen pictures of him with his kids smiling and whatever. But again, we're only seeing a highlight reel, a snippet. We don't know what really went on behind closed doors, if they're in a custody battle, whatever that looks like. But it's just he just wanted to be present. Like, it didn't, I don't know. I just thought it was super interesting because that family's all about family. And how many times did y'all forgive Tristan? I'm confused. Anyways.
A volcano erupted. Oh. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
A volcano erupted underwater, and the whole West Coast now is on a tsunami warning because it's supposedly the biggest eruption of a underwater volcano that has ever been recorded. Like, you can see it from space. Like, there's video. Yeah, there's video. And I think it's Tonga. I don't know. Tonga Island. I don't know what the fuck it is. But it's out there. And the whole West Coast is on tsunami alert. Hawaii is on tsunami alert right now. And, like, there's video surfacing of, like, the waves. And they're saying, like, these waves that are hitting the shore now are the, like, baby waves. Like, it's going to get worse.
Oh, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah, like, it's just growing and growing and growing. So that should be interesting to hear within the next few days, seeing what happens. Hopefully nothing happens. And anybody on the West Coast who's listening, because we do have some West Coast listeners.
We do. It's exciting.
We hope you guys are safe and doing the damn as thing. I was listening this morning to a recent interview with B. Scott on the B. Scott Show, and it was his interview from The Real this past week. Obviously, we haven't been tuning into The Real, but it was interesting to hear because if anybody remembers B. Scott, who is a trans non-binary celebrity, was hosting the BET Awards back in 2013. He was immediately pulled off the red carpet because of the way that he was dressed. After the show had already started, after he already started hosting, halfway through the show, immediately was pulled out because I guess rappers were feeling uncomfortable being interviewed by him. And he was brought to the back, or they were brought to the back and told they needed to tie their hair back, have more of a masculine look if they wanted to return to the carpet. Obviously, they said no. And Adrienne Bailon was pulled to continue the show. So she was there because it was The Real's first year promoting. They were there at the BET Awards. This is 2013, okay? And I guess she was there, and like producers, like obviously through networking and connection, producers saw her and were like, hey, can you jump in? We need you right away. Like, da-da-da-da. And I guess this is how showbiz works. And she's like, I literally was just walking and somebody ran up to me, said that they wanted me to start hosting and, handing me the mic. She's
hosting the red carpet or hosting the
red carpet?
BE? Oh, okay. I was like, because those are two different hosts. Yeah.
And she just started hosting and she's like, I never found out what happened. I heard about it after. I never had a chance to speak to you or, apologize. She's like, she felt like I think his pronouns are he, so I can say he. I think she felt that he resented her because of it. And he said he did because he thought that she was in on it or whatever the case. Like, she knew and she didn't speak up. And she was like, no, she apologized. She's like, I really didn't know genuinely. And I just was doing the job. They pulled me out. I wasn't even there to host. I was there with The Real. They pulled me, brought me on. And I remember seeing that because it was like 1 minute you saw B. Scott, commercial break, you came back. Then it was just Adrienne Bailon randomly, no announcement, no nothing. It was just hi, I'm Adrian Bailon. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Something must have happened. And come to find out that. Anyways, now he's hosting the 20s after show, which if you don't watch 20s on BET, you're missing out. It's such a good show. He's hosting that. What was that?
Right.
On BET, and it's coming full circle, and they were just talking about that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I like that behind the scenes stuff. For me, it gives me like, it makes me excited. What else?
That was all I had,
That's
honestly.
pretty much it. That's pretty much
That's
it. Let's close this out and head over to our next section. Oh, we're going to take a break. Be right back.
Caldero Talk. Welcome back to Caldero Talk, and this is the part of the show where we let you know what the topic is and we dissect and discuss it. So today's topic is boundaries are not beef. Just because I set a boundary does not mean that there is beef. The sooner some of y'all grasp that concept.
Do it again. This is for the bald bitches in the back.
The ASMR. That was me grabbing the mic. As soon as y'all grasp that concept, I feel like the world would be a much better place.
Right.
Because people are walking around here painting this narrative that someone who had set healthy boundaries that you crossed ain't shit because they cut you off. Bars. But it's like, have y'all sat back?
Okay.
Have y'all sat back to think about what part you played in it? I feel like the topic of this year is going to be accountability. Because there's no way to step forward. People love to be like, oh, forgive and forget. No, baby. That's not the era we're in.
Yeah.
We're going to forgive, but only if you could take accountability for the part that you played in it.
But I think it's hard. I was recently having this conversation with a friend, and I was talking about, a situation that happened between him and the other person. And I had to stop and, explain, do you take a look at the actions that you played in that situation? Mm-hmm. And I think when you do that, you have a better understanding of why things worked out the way that they did. I know that I have had numerous fallouts with friends, repairs. Regardless of what, my friend circle has stayed the same. That's just the relationship that we've had. And there's been things that I've said and times that I'm like, I'm never fucking speaking to them again. But I've had to sometimes sit down and be like, well, what role did I play? What, could I have been better? Could I have done this better?
Yep.
And now, especially in my group of friends now, I set my standards. I set my boundaries of like, hey, so, I'm going to communicate with you. You communicate with me. Let's make this work out. And so on and so forth. And I think it's hard for people to sit there and be like, well, I did this. Well, I did that. That's why I acted like this.
But I want to take a quick little detour. It's one thing to sit and listen to someone vent to you, but you also got to understand, are you adding fuel to that person's fire? The way that he sat there, how Ruben just said, I've said to the person, well, what part did you play in it? Those aren't conversations that are happening a lot of the time when people are venting. It's like, damn, they did that. How'd you respond? That's crazy. I would have been cut them off. I forget that mess. And it's right, like, it's not constructive.
When it's someone who I'm not really close to and they're venting to me, that is where I go. Because I'm not really close to you. 1, 2, I honestly don't give a fuck. I don't care what your situation is. But, I'll lend an ear, whatever it is. But I don't want to sit here and be your therapist. But if you're a close friend and I'm like, yo, we're having a heart to heart, I am going to ask that. I think it's important to ask, what role did you play? Because there's 2 sides to every story and then there's the truth, as we all know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can be gossiping to someone else about me, but did you ask yourself what role you played to get me to act like that? And sometimes people do things and then they turn on these goggles of just like it never happened.
They be it's that victim mentality, because they don't know how not to be the victim. And being the victim, you get more aid when you're in need. You get more help. You get more people paying attention. than when you're not. If you're gonna sit there and take accountability, now you have nothing to offer the conversation, because people love listening to Chisme. People love listening to other people's misery. Misery loves company. So when you are able to acknowledge and own up to the fact that I played this role, then the conversation becomes boring. Now if you are mature, emotionally mature. He's stupid. If you're emotionally mature enough to sit there, then it can still be a constructive conversation. It might be something that you might have to hear for yourself, and you can apply it to your own situations in life. You might have needed to be there in that moment to hear what they were saying, so that way you can apply it and pinpoint areas in your life where, again, it can be applied, and you can call yourself out on it so that you can now hold yourself accountable.
And I definitely think it's a cop-out to sit there with a group of people to discuss one person. Like, this one person has so much power over...
Right, like y'all think y'all kikiing, but the other person's actually winning because they still getting sleep while you sitting in a circle talking their own shit.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a difference from venting and, just
talking
plain
shit.
Out talking shit. Like, if you're venting, you're venting. If you're talking shit, like... That's when
the name calling starts happening.
I talk a lot of shit.
That's when you start dragging people for random shit. Like, they ain't bought a new pair of sneakers in forever. That's why they dusty, crusty, musty.
No, I don't.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you get like real petty with it versus like, or when you start throwing things in people's faces like, oh, I did this for that person, I did that for that person, baby, then that wasn't unconditional love. It came with terms and conditions. And when it no longer applied to you and no longer benefited you, that's when you pulled it out and you decided to start throwing it around. And now you're wondering why that person isn't coming around. And it's like, because they saw through the bullshit. Like,
I definitely think that's something that I'm trying to learn, the whole terms and conditions part, because I don't like to measure my friendships off the favors that I do for them. But for some reason, I've noticed that, like, when I get upset with them, it automatically brings me back to, well, what about when I did this for you? What about when I did that for you?
And it's going to take work. If you're again, like, these things aren't going to happen overnight. Like, I was that person, like, damn, that's crazy. I did this for that person. I did that for that person. And it's like, yeah, you did those things, but like, you did it out of love. Like, don't let what their actions towards you dictate how you're going to treat the next person who might be deserving
just take it as a warning
of your
for
friendship
the next time.
Yeah, that's it. Just like, but the thing is, I don't want it to deter me from, because it's hard for me not to, do things for other people when I care for them. And I don't want, me being hurt in the past by certain friendships to stop me from demonstrating how good of a friend I can be to any potential new people that might come into my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that's when that whole like time doesn't mean anything to me when it comes to friendships. I've had people that I've met in the last 6 months that have treated me like a better friend than motherfuckers I've known for the last 15 years. And then again, like, I've been deemed the bad guy because it's like, oh, well, you don't have long-term friendships. And it's like, yes, I do. I don't have to see them all the time. And there was a meme that was going on that was like how many of y'all have a best friend, but y'all ain't got no pictures together. Y'all ain't have no anything. Me and my best friend don't talk all the time. Me and my best friend don't see each other all the time. But when we get together, it's always a good time. You know what I'm saying? And like, I met her when I graduated from college.
And that's called adulting. Like,
that's adulting. Like, to sit there and think that, oh, because we're in the same city, I got to see you all the time. If you have the time, sure, by all means, go ahead. But your measurement of friendship is not my measurement of friendship. We have two different measurements. My boundaries look different from your boundaries. But again, in a friendship, you have to have a conversation of what those boundaries are, so that way you understand it. Now, if we don't come to an agreement and our boundaries, then we can go our separate ways. It's not beef. I'm not fighting with you. I'm not dragging your name. If I see you in the streets, I'm gonna say what's up. Like, it's not that deep for me. So it's just like this weird ass construct that when you set boundaries, oh, it's an issue. Why don't we sit and talk about why it's an issue?
Right.
Has no one ever set boundaries with you before?
And it's more so an issue because you're not willing to accept it, and you're not willing to see me in that light. You're only willing to see me at the rate that you allow yourself to see me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You sometimes when you're on this path of growth and you're growing and you're like, yo, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna do this. There are gonna be people who are just gonna fall off because they haven't grown.
Like the broken version of you. They don't want the healed version because they don't have access. They don't have access to certain aspects of the healed version of you. But the broken version is the turn up.
Yeah.
So they want to keep you there.
And they'll keep you right where they can keep that foot, honey. Right there.
Right down your neck.
Right when it's available.
Right on your neck.
They'll call you when it's available. They'll need you when it's available. But I think it's important to, when you realize that those are the friendships that you're having, to set those boundaries and be like, I don't have to tell you my boundaries. I can literally just act upon my own boundaries and be like, yo. And if you ask me, yo, why you acting different? I'm going to tell you straight out, like, listen, I'm just not rocking with that energy. Like, you wanted some different shit right now. I'm not rocking with it. Like, hit me up when you're done going through this phase and we can go back to being friends. But right now, like, I just don't need this in my life. And I think when you're honest with people like that, they're like, they don't know how to take it.
It's super interesting to me how, like, when I think back to some of my friendships, how we used to sit with a glass of wine and talk about, you know, we have to take care of ourselves first, put ourselves first. And then it's like when one of us acted upon putting ourselves first,
it goes back to the quotes. It goes back to the quote that people love to preach, but they don't love to practice. And that is hard for people. It's easy for people to say the right things around the right people, but it's hard for people to pull up with that same game. And I've noticed that. I've noticed that in a lot of people that I'm like, it's easy for you to sit there and tell me what I want to hear, thinking that it matters to me, that it's going to determine something. You're going to prove someone who you are to me, when in reality, you need to prove who you are to yourself. I can sit here every day and say to Nina, I'm going to work out today. I'm going to work out today. I'm going to work out today. But I don't go work out. The only person that is affected by that is me.
Yep.
You're still going about your day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we need to also learn how to stop saying these things around certain people to make ourselves look a certain type of way. Because if you can't keep up, then you got to let them go and figure out what's going on with you until you can get to that level. And
I feel like when it comes to setting boundaries, like if you have to go your separate ways, like I've been preaching this for a minute now. Like not everybody's going to come along for the journey.
Period.
It's not a bad thing when you've outgrown someone. Like it's okay. Like listen, we don't all fit in our jeans from high school. We outgrew them. It's okay. Mamas, let it go. You're not going to get back to those. And if you do, more power to you. But it's just like, I just don't get why. And this is why social media like messes me up, because it's like people love like their daily little quotes, their daily little, oh, make sure you choose you. Oh, setting boundaries is okay. It'd be the same mofos that don't know what to do when someone sets a boundary that involves them. It doesn't correlate. So it's like right now, boundaries, negative energy, choosing me, self-care, all those things are so prevalent and running rampant on social media that at this point they're losing their value because it's being used so frivolously that again it's losing its value. And it's now put it into practice. So back to when I was talking about El Chisme and like how that played out with me and a friend, it's like, you know me well enough to know that the things that I speak on social media, I'm actually putting into practice in real life. That's why when my name comes up in conversation negatively, that's why it bothers me. It bothers me because I'm not getting on SofritoSpeaks every other week and talking about things like this. I'm not jumping on my Instagram. I'm not jumping on TikTok to talk about these things. I'm putting these things into practice. I've practiced it. I've applied it, and I'm still learning it. Like it's a constant process that continues to go. So when I do hear my name in a negative light, I'm like, how? Right. How?
Right.
It don't make no sense. Again, I set boundaries, and it's okay to let people go, especially, you gotta think about it this way. On top of boundaries and, you know, y'all going y'all separate ways and you know, not everybody's coming along for the journey. On top of all of that, it's like, there are some friends that I outgrew because our lifestyles are no longer the same. People got married. People had kids. I'm single, kidless.
Hey.
We no longer have. What do we have in common? Nothing. Your priorities look different. And that's okay.
Yeah.
How are we getting mad at people? We're in such a victim mentality that it's like when someone makes a decision for themselves, because again, our priorities now look different because we're grown and things now look different. We're not 16, 17-year-olds anymore. Like, we're not running around trying to figure out the world. I mean, we're still trying to figure out life, but like trying to figure out what is it we're doing. Like a lot of people have settled down, had kids, bought a house, did those societal standard things. That's not where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I want to be around people who are on the same level as me. And that's no diss to people who've chosen this life. It's not the life I've chosen to live yet. Not to say it can never happen, but not right now. So I'm over on this side. And it's just like, what? I just, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. I'm so tired of talking about this shit. I'm tired of talking about friends. Like, I got the ones I got and I'm cool with them.
Right.
How many of us have
I think that's how we can end that right there, is just literally like the friends that you have, take a look around and see, are you really cool with these people?
And how can you be better? If there are certain areas that you're like, and ask them, yo, I know we've been rocking with each other for a minute. What do you need from me?
How am I doing?
How do I elevate? How do we elevate this friendship? You know what I'm saying? Like it might sound corny, but if you want
but a friendship is a
if
relationship.
You want if you want a relationship to flourish, you have to nourish it. How are you gonna go about that? Setting boundaries is a healthy way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a friend that likes to go out and drink, that's cool. But if you're the person that has FOMO, but you just appreciate an invite, let that friend know, listen, I ain't gonna come and indulge with you in some beverages, but I still like an invite. Have that conversation. There's a plethora of examples in that, but it's just when someone sets a boundary, why don't you, and you feel offended, why don't you stop and think about why you feel offended? It might be a deep rooted issue within you as to why you feel offended when someone sets a boundary.
A lot of y'all need some therapy.
Yeah, honestly.
And listen, we're looking for new clients at my job. I'm just
You stupid. Not the shameless plug.
Anyways, let's close this out and head over to our last section, which is
A Reposar. Welcome back to the part of the show that we like to call Reposar. And this is when we are going to give any shout outs, announcements, whatever, what have you. So, or quotes that really stuck out to us this week. What do you got?
I'm going to pull this out of the yin yang, and I'm going to say, similar to trust the process, but really, really trust yourself and know that you're going on this journey, but know that you can handle it, and everything that it may bring to you, that you can take it on. Yeah, pretty much.
In the spirit of setting boundaries, I think that we need to think about how we fit people into our schedule. So stop rearranging your schedule to make time for people who won't even think about penciling you in to theirs.
Purr, it's the train. Purr. I absolutely love that. I have no announcements. Again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys check us out all over our social media platforms. And
that's that on that, mi
that's
gente.
that on that. My name is Rosales, and I'm blasting off.
And I'm Nina Montañez. Stay blessed, mi gente. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Sofrito Speaks.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at SofritoSpeaks to keep up with all of our latest content.